Hello Isaac, this is Arthur, your MC of POGV, and I'm here for one more video in the National Educational Cycle. This time to talk about the exchange standard that we need to deliver as Isaac from the OGV perspective. So what are the standards? Standards are minimums, the minimums we need to deliver as Isaac to make our customers have a good experience. So these are unnegotiables. All of the 16 things, they need to happen, and they happen in different phases, and they are delivered by different people. So home entity, the outgoing, the OGX, yes, outgoing operations that OGV is part of, and other standards are delivered by the host entity. So the Isaac in the country, our EPs are going to ICX, the incoming operations, in our case IGV. Okay, so these are the 16 standards. We're going to go one by one in more detail. We have 8 standards that are delivered in the preparation phase, so before the EP goes. We have 7 standards that are delivered during the experience phase, so during the time the EP is in the host entity, doing the project, doing the exchange. And we have 1 final standard that is delivered after the EP comes back to home, come back to his country. 4 standards is delivered by home entity, by OGX, OGV, OG, OGT, in our case OGV. These are the standards we have to deliver. And the remaining are delivered by host entity, ICX, in our case IGV, our beautiful IR partners and cooperations. Okay. As you may understand, a complete, that is our final MOS, what we want to achieve as ISEC. It's only achieved after we delivered the standards. A complete is a realization, so is an EP traveling plus standards delivered. That's a complete, and that's where we are working for. Do we need to deliver all 16 standards to have a complete? Not necessarily, because from the 16 standards, we have 4 standards that are non-mandatory. These are these 4 that you see on screen. And we may not deliver 1 or 2 of them and still have a complete. But if we do not deliver more than 2, if we do not deliver 3 or 4, we do not have complete. And of course, all the other mandatory standards, they need to be delivered. If we do not deliver at least 1 of the others, we will not have a complete automatically. Okay? So how do we know if the standards are delivered or not? How does it work? The EP needs to fill a survey, and this survey, it has 2 parts. The first part is about 9 standards, and available for the EP after 15 days. They realize, and they can fill this saying yes or no to each of the standards in the survey during the experience. And the second part gets available after the finish date, when they come back, and it's the remaining standards they will be able to fill yes or no. And this is how the survey looks like. You can check the PDF later for more detail, and we're going to have a very quick review on each of the standards. You can of course read in more detail in the PDF after the video as well. The first standard is the personal goal setting. We need to deliver as OGV. We're going to help them to set goals for their exchange based on the LDA results, based on results of the leadership qualities. The second one is the outgoing preparations, a meeting we need to have with them before they travel to set everything, to make them prepared, to make them aware of ISEC way, of the standards, of XPs, and all the important information. The third standard is insurance. All EPs need to have an insurance to travel. It's mandatory. They cannot travel with us without insurance, and that's basically to help that if anything happens to the health of this EP, they will have where to go. Next, we have the expectation settings that delivered by IGV. Is basically the information they need to know about the country, the culture, and the city, and the host, the contacts, the accommodations details. These very important details they need to know about the destiny. The next thing is the visa and work permit, of course. So to enter in some countries, some customers need to have a visa or to have a work permit, and we need to check which are those countries and what are the procedures they need to go through to get it, and we'll help them with it. The arrival pickup, so when the AP arrives in the destination, IGV needs to pick them up. It doesn't need to be in the airport, it just need to be, it can be at a bus station or at a meeting point, but this needs to be communicated and agreed between the AP and IGV. Next, we have the accommodation. So the AP needs to be provided accommodation, and this in this description we have some minimums of what kind of accommodation and what we have to have in this accommodation for this EP. The next thing is the IPS. So the same way they have an OPS with us before traveling, they will have this again when they arrive there before starting the exchange, and us basically to make alignments about the JD, the job description, the living standards of the city, and some very important information. Finally, the first day of work, somebody needs to help the CP to arrive at their work and to make all the alignments they need with the opportunity provider. And this is the next standard. They need to have alignment space with the opportunity provider in the beginning of the exchange and also in the end to align JD and their personal goal settings. Job description, so we need to guarantee that the work they are doing during the exchange matches the description of the opportunity they applied and they were approved for during the consideration phase. Working hours, so we need to guarantee they are following the minimal working hours they need to have for the exchange. The duration, so we need to guarantee they have they have a project to work for during the whole duration of the exchange, in which GV the minimum is for 6 weeks. Opportunity benefits, so we need to guarantee that all the benefits that were in the opportunity, like number of meals, accommodation provided, transportation, and any other kind of benefits that's written in the opportunity in our website, they are being delivered. Finally, departure support, so the customer needs to receive information about how to leave the country in a legal and safe way. And when they come back, the debrief, so the final meeting they're going to have with us to listen to how was the experience, to receive feedback, and to guarantee all the service the AP needs to fill will be filled. That's it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to approach me, and I highly recommend you to check in detail the PDF right after the video. Bye.